The main argument is that global leadership of the economy is shifting from the Atlantic to the Pacific, or at least that the Pacific is going to play a big part in global leadership in the 21st century. And having taken that as a starting point, it then says, well, how do Pacific societies need to change to prepare for that new role, given the many challenges of global leadership we all face, whether it's the global economy or the climate change or whatever it might be. There's these big issues that require global leadership. So how do the Asian Pacific countries need to change to prepare to play their part in global leadership? And then specifically, what do they need to do about their education systems? If you look at the last 50 years, their education systems, generally speaking, have been tremendously successful. They've really come from nowhere in Korea and Singapore and Japan. They're now among the world leading systems. The question is whether could they do more of the same for the next 50 years? And we say, no, they couldn't. They really need to change. They need to focus on not just the knowledge and skills of the children and young people in their schools, but on their innovative capacity, their startup capacity, their willingness to take responsibility, because they need to generate a generation of leaders who can be innovative in the future.
And your report suggests that that change needs to be a cultural change.
Yeah, the change will need to be in the way the education systems work, but also in the way the culture operates. Many aspects of Pacific Asian cultures have been very good for the last 50 years in terms of generating economic growth. There's a respect for the state. There's a belief that education is A, valuable, and B, not determined by birth. So they don't buy in those Pacific Asian countries to the talent myth that we all tend to see very regularly in Britain and America. They have strong family connections, and the societies are quite homogenous on the whole, and willing to kind of sacrifice the individual to the collective, and to get from very low levels of economic growth in the 1960s to where we've got to today. Those have all been helpful things. But if you want a generation of innovators and creators and generators of wealth in the 21st century, some of those things cease to be advantages and become problems. For example, we know that the cities that are most creative in the world, like Toronto or San Francisco or London for that matter, are very diverse places. And the bigger the city and the more diverse the city is, the more likely it is to be an innovative, creative place. But if you look at Tokyo or Seoul, they're among the most homogenous cities on the planet. So the way the cities are organised will need to change. The way people think about the individual and the collective will need to change. Not right to the Western model, but a different balance will probably be needed. And then the education systems will have to stop being focused as vigorously as they are on the exams at the end of school, and generating not just knowledge and skills, but the ability to think in groups, on your own, reflectively, under pressure, and the ability to lead, to influence people around you rather than simply to follow.